Welcome back to Daybreak Extra, and now we'll talk about waste management and community development. Now, in this segment, of course, it's all about art. So we have double, of art to talk about. A really sweet one, and I can't wait to share with you. So one of the significant factors which is being emphasized today is the role of community in the waste management. Community participation in waste management programs is essential and very, very helpful, in reducing environmental pollution as a result of the dangers of waste in our community. Now, beside that, community can also get economic value benefits, yes, from participating in a waste management program. People can process the waste into something useful, something that they can use, something that they can sell, something that could be a souvenir and other fixtures from this trash. Now, joining us in the studio is Olu Kitibi, as he said, Ola Olua, popularly known as David. He is a project and community engagement manager. Good morning, David.
Good morning. It's good to be here today.
Of course, thank you for staying with us.
But I think before we take David, we also have a very beautiful young lady here. Her name is Joy Olarinwaju. She is a poet, right?
Yeah.
I'd like for you to properly introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is John Olarinwaju and I'm in JSS1. I'm 11 years old and I'm a poet, and sometimes I also dance.
Oh, interesting. So earlier, before we came back into the studio, you did talk about winning an award. Could you tell us about it?
I won the Elite Teen Festival, and I also took part in the World Intellectual Property Organization Poetry Slam also.
Nice. So what was your journey through all of that victory?
It was tough, but my lesson was you keep on pushing until you get to what you want to do.
A smart one there.
Really smart.
And she really spoke like a winner. She said it was tough, but then.
Okay.
A very beautiful one, Joy. I can't wait to have you recite your poem for us. But let's talk to David a bit, and then I would come back, because we need your poet to just absorb to get to us at a time that maybe the discussion is quite heated. Okay, so David, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So we all know how community, when it comes to Nigeria, we don't really have a proper dump place where we can dump a particular thing. Sometimes it's like in the middle of a community, which is not healthy, and then they will come burn it, and you see the carbon dioxide, I think, it would evaporate
from vehicles and all that.
Would evaporate into the society, and these things we don't even know cause a lot of hazard in our body system, as our environment and all that. But then you are a project manager or community, engagement manager, and you find a way to work, with these things in order not for it to be hazardous to the society. Instead, it becomes more useful. So walk us through that journey, that phase of yours.
Okay, it's great to be here. My name is, as I said, Olu David. I work with arts artists. Alongside Olua Bukumi Olukitibi, a very interesting person to work with. So we've been partnering. We're creatives first. We're artists, and we're always questioning the why. So what can we do to make our community a better place? Is the question that keeps coming to our mind as creatives. And then we keep coming up. We've done different particular projects, but this we came up with a project called Planet Art, and the Earth. How can we use touching the art, through art, to change and transform the earth? So that was a project we came up with, and the project is basically a project that sensitizes people, creates awareness in various communities, because basically the urban part is already taken care of, if you ask me. We have a lot of dust bins, trash cans already. But if you go to these rural communities, to the shanties, to the slums, you rarely find that. You get, and even people in the slums really do not understand. They don't understand why. I remember this workshop that we did in collaboration with SCI, Adiza. When she was actually teaching, you see, we just wonder, oh my God, you mean this waste cost this particular thing, but it always starts with one person just throwing a waste here, and then another person looking for, this is also a waste site, and before you know, the various kind of disease just springs up.
So it's more about ignorance. People are not aware of the dangers that this unhealthy or nonchalant waste disposal causes to the community, right?
Yeah, there is also a level of ignorance. I mean, that plays, ignorance also plays a part, but we won't say the entire community is not aware.
Okay.
But maybe if they were properly sensitized on the danger, you know, maybe they might take a different tone, a different perspective. You understand? Maybe people might take a different tone on their approach, on how to approach things. And also, if maybe, say, people understand the wealth they can also get from this, what they can create from it, how they can... A lot of people don't know the benefit of plastics, especially in the rural communities. They don't understand the benefit of plastics.
Now, speaking of the wealth that you can get from you know, waste disposal, I'd like for us to talk about recycling. I'm aware there is the 3 R's, more like the reuse.
Yeah, the reuse, the repurpose, and the recycle.
Right.
Yes.
So walk us through that.
Okay. Basically, our project focuses on the repurposing. You understand? We're trying to repurpose. How can you basically use this plastics? Because plastics, they say, constitutes a larger waste of I think in 2004, just my farmer year, plastics alone constituted 20% of the weight that was gotten from my timer. So we decided to focus on plastics. Plastics, nylons, and other non-biodegradable wastes. We focused on plastics and started using it to create different kind of artifacts that can be put like bags, skipping ropes. You'll be so shocked. I really wish I came with one. You'll be so shocked that if you get a PET bottle, just the plastic on it, we'll start using it to create like skipping ropes.
Oh.
Yeah, not the cover, the one that you pull off the cover. Yes. So you can use it to create skipping ropes.
Yeah, okay. I even saw, let me not interrupt you, but I saw, you know, the video that just played a while ago, and it was showing, I don't know if it was a map, but it was bottles being gathered, and it formed
a butterfly.
Yeah, what was happening there? Oh, that was a butterfly.
Yeah, that was a butterfly that we were trying to create alongside with the kids. So basically, we cut off the top bottle of we cut the bottle split it into halves, and then use it to create a butterfly for the community that shows welcome to Saburi. Yes, that shows welcome to Saburi one. You understand? So this, and the reason why we did that is because, in fact, when we were creating this, a lot of people were just asking, like, people were just packing to understand, they were, is this plastics? Is this actually plastics? So that alone is a sensitization, even when we are not there, and that was why we really wanted to put that butterfly in front. As you're coming into the community, you can practically see it, to see the power of what this waste that you just dump and that is causing nuisance in the environment can actually do. You understand? Because one thing about waste, one thing about improper waste disposal does, it actually also affects the aesthetic value of any community. You get changes because once you enter a community and you just see plastic littering around, it already changes the way you begin to view that community. So basically, this was an aesthetic that we decided, okay, let's place this here as a symbol. That when people pass across, they see that, oh, if plastics can be, that means there's also benefits in just probably repurposing plastic use.
So, David, how did you find yourself here? Now that got me curious because, you know, we know that our universities these days now are welcoming the whole environmental study, but way back, it wasn't like that. So how did you find yourself? What motivated you into saying, okay, I want to do something art and I want to find a way, you know, to give back to the community and ease up, you know, the whole dirty environment and everything you do? Okay,
first, I think I was with the right team, if you ask me. I was with the right team, I was with the right organization. I've always, from a very younger age, I've always been very passionate about my community. Okay, what can I do? And basically, working with Oluwabunmi Olukitibi also changes the game. The way she thinks, the way I think, we're creatives, and we're always questioning the why.
Okay.
You know, when you just come in, why should it be like this? You know, basically, because that's what creativity does. You just begin to ask, why? Why is it happening like that? So that question always leads us to an entire new journey, new experiences. You understand? So this is what got us to this part. Okay, if we can do something, because we use dance to tell stories, we use poetry to tell stories, we use acting, we use different forms. What else can we also do? Creativity inspired this, and then we go, okay, let's begin to recycling. I think it's at 2010, 11-ish. In my university days, I met someone they call Luo Laliko. So it came up with this biogas idea. Then when the university was creating this biogas alongside an artist, and it was very consistent with it. It had a team of people, and since then, you know, that seed has been planted. If you can turn dungs into waste, I mean, to create methane gas that people can use to cook, what else can be done? And it's been planted. So Oluwabunmi Olukitibi and I just took it to the next level. Yes.
So still speaking about maintaining the environment and also creating a balance in the ecosystem, I did see one of the clips that played tree planting. I didn't really quite understand the story there.
Okay, you know, so I think it was China, I can't remember the country says, for every 3 cut, they want you to plant like, I mean, for 1 tree cut, they plant 20 more trees. Basically, we understand this level that we have is climate. The climate it's a looming disaster. What's going on? And deforestation is already everybody's just cutting down trees.
Right.
One thing also we can do to encourage basically our goal of supporting the SDG is also to make sure we plant trees.
Okay.
And also trees actually does a lot of good to us, to our community, to our environment. And that's why we also say beyond the upcycling workshop we're going to do, beyond the turning waste to wealth with plastics and everything, let us also plant a tree. So behind that butterfly you saw with plastics, we also planted a tree, a Christmas tree. To always remind people every season that, see, there is a looming disaster coming. And if we don't do something about it, it's going to wreak havoc on us. We humans are always at the losing end.
Of course, the humidity, you know, that passed. I think about 3 to 4 months ago, it was so hot.
Yes.
It was so hot. And while we were growing up, there was this training of plant a tree and see it grow. So yes, in my secondary school, you know, that I attended, I know there was that. And sometimes they took us outside the school and we plant trees and we're given assignments of, okay, watch it, see it through, make sure it grows. So it involved you watering it, checking on it, making sure there's a lot of sunlight. But even at that, David, a lot of people are still cutting down trees. Some people are making money from it. You cut down tree, burn it, and you start selling the charcoal. And these people don't really know, you know, the impact it causes, because as it is burning, it's
the fossil fuels are going.
Exactly, it's toxic to the environment. And also, you've already cut down 1 tree, and just like you said, without planting about
20 more trees.
So how do we reach these people? How do you sensitize the people? Let's start with what you do. You say you sensitize. How are you able to convince these people on the importance of, you know, keeping trees and trying not to cut them and all that?
I think it starts with you. And that's why we took the bold step. It starts with you. Because when people see what you're doing, they begin to recognize the importance of planting trees. When people see what you're doing, we've done it in smaller scales before we took it a step further. So when people see what we're doing, they say, okay, the people begin to question and say, I think one time when we're doing a project and someone was like, what's the essence of this? You are just wasting your time and everything. Until we began explaining to one person. And that same one person began talking to other people. So when we got into the community, it was easier for us to like get people into the system. And basically, you know, a lot of people, especially in the slums, are looking for a way to survive.
I was going to come in
a way to survive. So once you they sometimes use a bait, a very soft bait, and say, okay, this is what this can do for you. This is what this can do for you. You understand? And if this is not in place, these are the hazards I can cause for you. And basically, you take them down memory line. Abuja didn't used to be this hot.
True.
Abuja didn't used to be this hot. In fact, the whole Bangladesh is basically in fact, your sweat can't cool you off no more in Bangladesh. So there are things already happening.
No, we need to work on to keep
basically.
So if you're saying you need to sensitize people in the communities about, you know, the dangers of cutting down trees and all, but what about people who have, over the years, this is their source of livelihood? What would you advise they do? They don't know any other thing to do. Just, you know, they fell trees, they burn them, use charcoal, or some of them sell the wood for furniture making and all that. So what would you suggest?
So basically, just like I said earlier, it's also a system that works. We have to also create a system that works. Definitely people will have to do furniture, people will have to do something related to that. One thing I can suggest, especially for those people that use charcoal, is actually providing another means. Like dongs, they actually create gas. It's actually creating another means for them to also begin to survive from.
Okay.
And also encourage people, you cut down 1 tree, plant another. Because if our forefathers, a lot of trees that are still being cut down were planted years back. If someone didn't plant the tree, you're not going to beat them. So let's encourage a system that says, see, for every tree, you put down a system that says, if one person cuts down a tree, he must also plant 20 trees in turn. Or 5 trees in turn.
Okay.
You understand? So as you're cutting this, you know that one other is growing in place of it. So we also have to create a system that is beneficiary to the society, beneficiary to the people in need of it, and beneficiary to humanity.
That's quite patriotic, you know. He keeps mentioning the community. So in a video I saw something about, you know, tires, and we know that most times when the tire expires from the car, it's of no use, so it's been dumped somewhere. But you people make it into something really creative. Where did that idea come from?
Okay, so recently Oluwabukumi did actually an art experimental for a walk, an earth walk, talking about if humans were earth. And we met someone, I just want to pick it from there. And someone said, right here in Bega, said that, yeah, where will we throw the waste? There is no dirt. I mean, there is no trash can to actually dispose the waste. Picking up from there, but in all these communities, maybe, you know, there's a part of sensitization, there's also part of also putting things system in place that can help people take caution. So we decided to use tires in the community to create trash cans.
Okay.
Trash cans where people can actually, you're passing, you want to throw something, you know, when you look around, nowhere, you just you just throw. True. So let's create trash cans where people can easily actually dump things for schools, because basically they said kids are the leaders of tomorrow.
Right.
If it starts from the school, let's put them in schools, very close to school, on the street, where people can easily just dispose things. So that's actually where the idea came from.
Okay, still speaking about waste disposal, proper waste disposal. I'm aware, I think I was speaking to an environmentalist one time, and then he did talk about there are some, you did talk about biodegradables, yeah? And then he said some items, some waste, you classify them into, you have the red trash, the green. Walk us through that.
Okay, so the idea behind that is especially for people to be able to identify where to drop what. Because we have biodegradable waste, we also have non-biodegradable waste. Plastics, likes of plastics, likes of rubbers, they are non-biodegradable waste. While likes of food, the things that can decay, the things that can decompose.
Right.
So we actually use the green, red, and everything to identify where you should put what. Especially for schools, especially for kids. You understand? Some of them can just say, oh, anywhere you can throw anything. But not all waste are the same. Especially if you're going to recycle or reuse plastics, you need to know that plastics are kept here.
Okay.
Plastic are kept here. This kind of waste maybe that can be used to manual, or those biodegradable waste that can be used for manual. So that's the essence of the colors.
Also.
Yes, yes.
A smart one there. Okay, so let's come to our beautiful Joy Olarewaju. Okay, so you have a poem titled Diamonds in the Mud, right? And Mr. David explained that it's all about, you know, a beautiful thing, but it's in the mud that needs help. And we're trying to tell people that it's basically based from your heart, it's about Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay, please read, or should I say recite, that beautiful poem for us. Go ahead. No, you of course sit down and do your thing.
Help me, help me, help me. I don't know them, they carry me, they go. The current reality in this country is drifting our minds apart, taking our true faces into places we can't comprehend. Unconsciously, our thoughts have now become like a disease, seizing every part of our being with tears and fears, nor care we human beings. For our fatherland now feel like we are in a strange land, where only the rich and powerful are favored and we are left to labor. For even with our hopes and aspiration, we toil from dusk to dawn, yet we have a lot undone. So before you say this one's easy, have you ever considered these conditions have not been easy? For it's been a struggle and a fight, not with fists and punches, but with dreams and belief, taking the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth step with a mindset to crawl out of this pothole. But every chance you get for a big break, you're pushed back with your hopes snuffed out. Oh God, please, can you toss this coin again, so I can switch side before I die and get a chance to be on top? For I've seen those ahead of me taking the ladder from bottom up just to try to reach, but is now 6 feet below the ground and reaching the very soil that took their father and your sisters. So it's a simple question I put to you. Can someone please show me the labor of our heroes past and give to us the fruit and the seed of the work of their hands? For of choosing this vast plain as our promised land, for we believe this grass can be greener on our side. So we'll decide to move and ride, leaving our past behind, a future yet to be seen and history yet to be written. So let's use the term wisely, before we sink and drown and lose the crown. For we were not thoughtful enough to do what's right. So I need, you need, we need all the help we can get. For sincerely, I don't know where this country they carry us to go. But if you know, I will be glad to know what you know.
Oh, that's a beautiful. What?
That's so emotional.
Indeed, every word touches the heart of Nigerians, and we also hope to get that Christian where the country they carry us they go. David, what motivated you people into reaching out these kids, teaching them poetry and dance? What's the motivation behind that?
Okay, hi, and I think growing up, there was a lot of struggle. No one told us, like, if you're not going to school, if you're not becoming a doctor, if you're not becoming this, then you're nothing in the society. And then if we felt that same way years back, definitely someone is also feeling the same way we felt. You understand? And basically, as creative, I said we're passionate about the community, looking at how we can touch. And going back to the community is just the most sensible thing to do for someone that has just come out of the community and is also striving. And giving these people a soft landing earlier in their age will be able to help them see potentials that lie within the creative industry and be able to help us produce stronger, better people who are vast. To say it takes 10,000 hours to become a professional at anything you do. So imagine you take a child at probably 9, a child at probably 8, and starts walking up. That child would have been able to create like a 10,000 hours to become that professional that person desires. And also they would have already been able to understand the nook and cranny of becoming what they want to be, especially in the creative industry.
So what are the challenges, you have experienced, with all of what you do? It's all about giving the community, it's all about taking care of these children, finding a way to break through, some certain tough decision and getting that passion, developing that passion. What are the challenges? Because they cannot be,
They would definitely, you see me smiling already. There is a lot of challenge. I want to start from the top, but there is a lot of challenge. Because you might that you think that something is good doesn't mean everybody believes it with you. So yeah, we have a good idea. Yeah, we think it's something valuable for the community. Yeah, it's doing something, but it's also sometimes not pretty accepted about the community. Like when one of the times we're trying to do something in one community, and then you saw people from the community that were trying to do something for came out in mass and said they don't want it.
Oh
yeah, was that real? So, but we had to speak to the Seriki, very understanding person. We had to speak to the Seriki. We have to go back. It all boils down to sensitization, and use one person as an example.
Right.
When you pick someone from the community and they see what you've done with that person, the potential the person carries, people begin to understand that, oh, it's actually possible. Like some of our kids, the parents will be like, oh, this thing you are doing is just nonsense. So but when they began to see that what we're doing is not only helping the child grow, it's also helping them academically, it's also helping them in different atmosphere. And we also teach, parenting and also respect kids to have respect for their parents. So it's all-encompassing for us. If not.
Now let me come to Joy now, our young creative in the house. At such young age, you have been nominated and you have won awards. How does this make you feel? How does this stand you apart with your peers now? I just want to understand from your perspective as someone who has won awards in your position.
Okay, I feel like there's more I can do. I'm like the sky is my limit. And not just that, like for people who are yet to be like me, I want to tell them that they should keep on, they should be hardworking. They shouldn't feel like they've gotten to the top yet. I'm nowhere yet, but I actually dream of winning more awards and becoming someone.
Okay. And how are your friends treating you in school?
My friends,
they're proud of you, yeah?
Not all of them actually knows I'm a poet.
Okay.
So you're hiding it from them? Why?
It's not like I'm hiding it.
So what's happening there?
I'm just a normal person in school.
Of course you are a normal person in school. But then I feel you did say you're encouraging other people to be hardworking, yeah? I feel you can do that through your work. I'm not saying you should shine it and then act like, oh, yes, I've arrived somewhere. You understand what I'm saying? Amongst your peers, you can help them channel their talents. Lots of young people like you have lots of talent. Just
like Mr. David is doing for you, they're giving back to you, so you need to give back to others. Well, we're so proud of you, Joy. What your poet was amazing, and we hope that the new president, listen to it and of course make a way to help the country so that we'll know where Nigeria they go. Thank you so much, Joy Olariwaju, for coming. We hope that of course you get the best of what you want in this world. Thank you so much, Mr. David Olukitibi.
Olukitibi.
So David Olukitibi Olaoluwa, who is a project manager and a community engagement manager. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, and with that, of course, we've come to the end of Daybreak Extra. Yes, every good thing must come to an end. Do not forget, of course, to follow us across all our social media platforms in order to catch up with whatever we bring for you here on our station. I am Sumaya Bakar. Don't forget, of course, to stay tuned for the sports guy. Mr. Adeni Adishafe will be bringing you interesting sports news that's happening today. I am Sumaya Abubakar.
I am Aisha Salihu.